Is the Bible based on true events? And does it need our attention? Well, let's find out together. The Bible has a unique record of preservation, translation, and distribution, and new discoveries continue to confirm its historical accuracy. Regardless of your religious background, you will find that the Bible is unlike any other historical book. I'll walk you through some examples that you will find very interesting. For many years, Bible critics claimed that King Belshazzar, who is mentioned in the book of Daniel, never existed. They held that view because archaeologists could find no evidence that he had actually lived. However, that changed in 1854. In that year, a British consul named J.G. Taylor explored some ruins in the ancient city of Ur, in what is now southern Iraq. Located in a large tower, the explorer found several clay cylinders. The writing on one of the cylinders includes a prayer for the long life of Babylonian King Nabonidus and his oldest son, Belshazzar. Critics had to agree. This finding proves that Belshazzar did exist. However, the Bible not only states that Belshazzar existed, but also that he was a king. Again, critics were skeptical. The 19th century English scientist William Talbot wrote that some stated that Belshazzar was co-regent with Nabonidus, his father, but there was no evidence whatsoever. But then, writings on other clay cylinders reveal that Belshazzar's father, King Nabonidus, was away from the capital city for years at a time. What happened during his absence? When Nabonidus went into exile, he entrusted Belshazzar with the throne and the major part of his army. So Belshazzar served as a co-ruler in Babylon during that time. Again, the Bible proved to be right. Recently, Israeli archaeologists have found a seal of the biblical King Hezekiah. This find is extremely interesting, because once again, there was discussion about his existence. Hezekiah lived in the 7th century BC. Although Israel was then a vassal state of the Assyrian Empire, Hezekiah was known for his commitment to keeping his kingdom strong. The Bible's books of Kings, Isaiah and Chronicles speak of Hezekiah. He is portrayed as a capable ruler. He is also mentioned in Assyrian chronicles from that time. The archaeologists found the seal in 2009 on a centuries-old rubbish tip, where the city wall of Jerusalem used to stand. But the importance of the discovery was not recognized at first, and the seal disappeared into storage. A few years later, they made a new inventory, and the uniqueness of the little clay disc was discovered. The seal is about 1 centimeter in size, and was used to seal a papyrus scroll. In Hebrew, the seal reads, "Property of Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king of Judea." Another person about whom there was doubt was Pontius Pilate. During the life of Jesus, Pontius Pilate was governor of Judea. He investigated the charges made by the Jewish chief priests and older men. They accused Jesus of presenting himself as a king. On hearing of Jesus' mission to bear witness to the truth, Pilate concluded that Jesus was no threat to Rome and washed his hands as a sign of innocence. Some scholars were beginning to question if Pontius Pilate had ever been governor of Judea. But in 1961, a team of archaeologists discovered a building block for a set of stairs belonging to a structure erected behind the stage house of the Herodian Theatre. On the inscription, which is part of a larger dedication to Tiberius Caesar, is clearly written that it was from Pontius Pilate, prefect of Judea. Egypt, famous for its pyramids and the Nile, was the first world power in biblical history. In the shadow of this land, the nation of Israel was formed. Moses, who wrote down the first 5 books of the Bible, was born and educated in Egypt. Are the things he wrote about this land supported by secular history and archaeology? The accuracy of a historical record is often evident in the details: customs, etiquette, names and titles of officials, and so on. Regarding the Genesis account of Joseph, the son of Jacob, and the Bible book of Exodus, J. Garrow Duncan says in his book named New Light on Hebrew Origins, the following:
The Bible writer was well acquainted with the Egyptian language, their customs, religion, court life, etiquette, and civil service.
The biblical book of Exodus tells us that during their slavery in Egypt, the Israelites made bricks of clay mixed with straw, which served as a binding agent. Just like 3,000 years ago, bricks dried in the sun are still the characteristic building material of the country. The book Ancient Egyptian Materials and Industries also mentions the Egyptian custom of using straw in making bricks. So it supports the additional detail found in the Bible. Hebrew men in ancient times wore a beard. Yet the Bible says that Joseph shaved before going to Pharaoh. In Genesis 41 verse 14 it says, "So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and they brought him quickly from the prison. He shaved and changed his clothes and went in to Pharaoh." Why did he do that? Because facial hair was a sign of impurity according to Egyptian customs and etiquette. Moses was clearly an extremely accurate writer. But also other writers wrote detailed accounts of events related to ancient Egypt. The prophet Jeremiah mentions specific details about King Solomon's trade in horses and chariots with the Egyptians and the Hittites. A chariot cost 600 pieces of silver, and a horse 150. So a chariot was 4 times as expensive as a horse. According to the book Archaeology and the Religion of Israel, the Greek historian Herodotus, and even archaeological findings confirm a large trade in horses and chariots during Solomon's reign. The book also says that there was a standard exchange rate established of 4 horses for 1 Egyptian chariot. This shows once more how accurately Bible writers wrote their accounts. The Bible is a book about real people, real events, real history and real places. In the Hebrew scriptures there are at least 53 people confirmed archaeologically. Another example is Pharaoh Shishak of Egypt. The Bible mentions his invasion of Judah, specifically dating it in the 50th year of Judean King Rehoboam. For a long time the only record of his invasion was the one found in the Bible. But then a relief was discovered on a temple wall in Karnak. There Shishak is depicted with prisoners. The relief also records name of conquered Israelite towns. And it also mentions the field of Abraham. It is the earliest reference in Egyptian records to the well-known biblical patriarch Abraham. There are many more archaeological discoveries that confirm the accuracy of the Bible. But this video would take hours if I were to list them all. So take your time and do your own investigations. And I bet you will embark on a very interesting journey. Thank you so much for watching.